This is my last will and testament. Don't be nervous. The electric hum broke and crackles with play and circuit. This is the music of my soul. The howl of feedback after the band hits an abrupt halt. All this I've tried to give, gone down laughing, crying, puking, under the jackboots of taste and feigned opportunistic pseudo-morality for all posterity and a face full of pepper spray. The three-toed sloths of progress ripped down proletarian expression, jacked up rents and had a cigarette and shat in the astroturf where indiscriminate stunted mutant gardens accidentally grew. There a boy who looked like me was found jerking off under a wilted cabbage leaf, much to my father's surprise. I slap the ugliest greens I can on canvas to oral dissonance as images blur by greasy zit-covered skags fucking suck on the screen, battery of need. I line in distorted squalling figures and deformed genitalia etching of child primal abandon, confusion, frustration, action. The boy who looks like me is still a virgin. He's ugly and his mom dresses him funny. Even his graduation approaches. He likes heavy metal, considers it the one true religion, but is disturbed by the growing trend in satanic lyrics. He wants to draw comics, but flunked out of drafting class. In short, he's got problems. Cadmium red lines over titanium white blotches. My mauling of the human figure. Wet brain rages in thrall of tonight's medication. I bruise language of my jihad, and on TV, the last politician who dismissed me becomes a star, spouting a medley of his most humiliating sound bites. Scratching, hiccuping, and a hip-hop grind assault is my best preventative defense. Brushes dripping, Jackson Pollock knocked down the last wall of perspective, liberating visual artists forever. Similarly, Lou Reed knocked down the final musical wall in 1975's Metal Machine Music, paving a road for punk, thrash, industrial, ambient, electronica, the whole damn gamut, leveled the playing field to infinite. Camera in hand, I get a Woody exploring disintegration of concrete linear form, watching flesh and blood reduced under brittle lines and then collapsing under waves of color, noise, texture. Form in a state of collapse, however, is still form. The struggle is how to render the absence of form as interesting as the process of its dissolution. It could be a losing battle. The boy who looks like me bleats his exception. He is a proponent of form after a fashion. He believes in technique, although he's naive about what that is. Cohesion means a lot. In short, he still thinks it's possible to go too far. Problem of scope. In the storm, words and pictures avalanche forth. I can't contain them. Finite vessel, flickering light and music. While outside fascism builds, congeals. Toxic, lopsided reasoning, co-op's belief. Acid sludge gushes from the Madonna's eyes. Her transformation into the dioxin monster complete. Hail Mary and hail the company. We pledge allegiance to the poison. This is your wake-up call. Go back to sleep, suck your thumb, and think pretty pictures. From now on, everything is done for you. My portrait of Mary includes the flag, the toxic sludge, and the Coors Light logo. She also has a dick. My video brain lock abstracts betray the iridescent cracks and spiders that crowd into the black under its closed lids. Say what you will, it beats the Holocaust footage I couldn't shake a few years ago. Many thins in beer and in the lattice of my process. The bodies are greased and thrusting endlessly in a Vaseline white noise parade out the corner of my eye, in the alcoves of my brain, crawling, fucking, sucking, shitting, squealing. Compliant cunts and assholes are pumped and filled by huge freakish cocks. Balls slap rippling ass in staccato rhythm. Dirty head flood jonesing for the bacchanal. Color, noise like volcanoes, volcanoes, volcanoes. I want my outside to look like my inside. Cracks. Like ventilation in Vincent's body after he eked out his last manifesto. But what do you want? But what do you want? Spiders in the brain, like Richards driving from San Diego to Minneapolis on a whim because it was all he could do. Words sharpening as his mind raced faster. Poetry becoming wilder, more vivid, till he bought that special gun, knowing it was the girl he waited his whole life for. Took photos, posing, shooting with her, you know the rest. My dying impulse is defiance and necessity to squeeze out every last word, color, image before the ceiling comes down, before the shit comes down. giving up every last piece until it's just shards and slivers hitting the floor in chance non-patterns. The last blows before every last officious pig says no, imposes some sanitary smackdown, yanks away my last right, my last tool, removes my hands, eyes, ears, tongues to the applause of multitudes. I put a bullet in the brain of the boy who looked like me. His end followed the appropriate art corresponding to Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the periodic table of elements. His hands sprouted from the ground as daisies, nourishing strange stunted animals. Fertilizer, sediment, fossil fuel, and factory ragged bones and muscles, I retreated to my dark corner, etching out final frayed objections, muttering litanies, all I've got left, repeating phrases, picking at scabs. When I die, I'm dispersing my body among sundry Confederates with the stipulation that they will use various pieces they receive as art. Panda, you will be the recipient of my skull, mounted on the mantelpiece in an unusual and surprising fashion. Make it something people can laugh at, cigarette dangling from the nubs of my teeth, jaunty hat up top, whatever works. Shannon, you will be the recipient of at least 50% of my rib cage. Do what thou wilt. Just be sure and log documentation or its surgical equivalent. Picking at scabs. Liz, tan my flesh and turn it into a teepee or a tapestry. Decorate the wall with paintings of dogs playing cards. Adorn my hide with beads, sundials, doodads, dream catchers. Render me PC and multicultural. The yes, Indian I could never be in real life. Nobody gets my reproductive organs. I'm donating them to science in hope that they might nail them to a board, study them, and find a cure for my paternal lineage before it can do any more damage. Shannon, oh, did I give you something already?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did.
I have
okay.
your rib cage.
You got the rib cage. Jessica, you'll be the recipient of my femur.
Abby,
I want you to paint lots of neat colors, add attachments, ornaments, ad infinitum. Amen. Heather, making eye contact with you is one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do. Virtually unbearable, like every sin I've ever committed is playing to the world in a continual graphic loop, and I'm smashing myself to pieces on the projector, picking at scabs. You all have a mission to teach alchemy and lead the young and impressionable toward a new age of Horus. Spiders. Scarecrow, I think I'll miss you most of all. Bone and dry skin, corn stalk like a parched American Christ, fossil fuel, sediment, fertilizer, hands, picking at scabs, cracks.